Hi, this is Design Tutorials and this video belongs to the Shutterstock contributor series. However, this particular video is a bit different and interesting because I'm going to involve or merge Adobe Stock with it as well, because something really interesting and amazing has happened to my Adobe Stock profile, and I really wanted to share that information with you because you are going to find that really interesting and helpful. So for that reason, in this video we're going to discuss both Shutterstock as well as Adobe Stock, so that makes it a bit different. And now, before getting started, for those who are not aware, I initiated this Shutterstock contributor series. It was basically a case study of me, or it was a personal case study where I shared my experience of working as a Shutterstock contributor over the past few years. So I shared different pieces of information such as what sort of artwork, what sort of designs did I manage to sell, what has worked for me, how much money did I make, and then over the time I kept sharing different strategies of mine in this particular playlist. And if you will go through these, you will find all this information really helpful. And this particular series ended up with this video, which was the last one. It was basically a 6 months earning comparison where I wanted to explore multiple digital stock agencies and share their potential of source of income, source of passive income with you. So those included Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, iStock, and some others. So if you're interested in that, I think you are going to love this information, this particular video. So I will drop the links to both of these playlists, and this playlist also has include this particular video that I'm talking about. Do watch these videos if you are interested in this topic. Now, getting back to where I started from, so I'm going to share the agenda of this video because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, because I'm uploading this video after a bit gap. So we will begin with just the normal way. We will begin with the earnings summary of Shutterstock, but this time I'm also going to add Adobe Stock in it, and this is going to be an update to the previous earnings. Then I'm going to introduce you to 123RF, which is another digital stock agency. Now, if you remember, I explored multiple stock agencies in my last video in terms of their earning comparisons, but this particular agency was brought to my attention and I was asked to explore it, and I did that, and I found it quite appealing to be shared with my audience. Then afterwards I'm going to share, just like last time and in the previous videos, I'm going to share another Shutterstock strategy with you related with metadata, and I will share a method with you how to do that and how much it's going to help you or not. And finally, we are going to have a bonus section in this video or segment where I'm going to share with you the Shutterstock's, the notorious January's reset that has been started I think for 2 years now. So I have gone through 2 of these resets now, so I would like to share my experience with you, how to approach this particular January reset and what should be your method to cope with it, and what sort of strategy you should follow. And so that's the video's agenda that we are going to follow. So we'll begin with the first one, which is the earnings summary of Shutterstock and Adobe Stock. So let's get started. Starting with Shutterstock, it's important to mention that I'm recording this video on the 18th of November 2022. Now, the last earnings update that I shared with you was that of September 2022, where I managed to make $316 in that particular month. So as far as October is concerned, I made 294, almost 300. And as far as the November is concerned, we don't have a full picture at the moment because like I said, it's 18th of November and I still have 12 days to go. But the earnings so far is impressive. I've already crossed $200 and I'm hoping to cross 300 this time too. So for Shutterstock, the good thing is that instead of, although my target was to maintain an average of $200 for the entire year, but now I have started making 300s instead of 200, so that's a good thing. And that has started after September. From September, I made 300. I crossed 300 for the first time. Then in the October I almost touched 300, and now in the November I still have 12 days and I'm already at 240. So I'm hoping to cross 300 this time too. So that's about the Shutterstock. Now let's get to the Adobe Stock that I was talking about. Now this is really interesting case study, and let's begin with the amount. Okay, so you're getting this amount available earnings, $177. Now this is for this month. Okay, I will select from this drop down, I will select this month, and when I say this month, it does not mean the last 30 days, it means the month of November. So in other words, I'm just talking about the 18 days of November. So in 18 days of November, I have managed to make $177 so far, and we still have 12 days to go. So even in case of Adobe Stock, I'm hoping to cross 200 this time, which will be for very first time for Adobe Stock to cross this amount. Now, obviously this amount is impressive, but the more impressive part in terms of comparing Adobe Stock and Shutterstock is that for the first time, because I've been working with Adobe Stock over multiple months now, although I have been involved with Shutterstock for a longer period, and I have way larger portfolio in Shutterstock as compared to Adobe Stock. But for the first time, interestingly, Adobe Stock has outperformed Shutterstock. Now you might say the Shutterstock is making 243 and the Adobe Stock is making 177. How it has outperformed it? But the reason for that is that in Adobe Stock, my portfolio is only a little bit above 300 designs. On the other hand, I have 700 plus designs in Shutterstock. So that is first factor that we should keep in our mind. And then the second most interesting factor is the amount I make per download, or let me clarify that. If I move to, let's say, this year, now for 1,000 downloads in this year, I made $850. Okay, I'm rounding up the numbers. Okay, so for 1,000 downloads, I made $800 in Adobe Stock. On the other hand, if I go to Adobe Stock or Shutterstock, for 7,000 downloads, I made 2,500. Okay, for 7,000 downloads, I made 2,500. So could you compare the ratio of how much money you are making for how many downloads? So I'm making way more money with very less amount of downloads in case of Adobe Stock. And it's interesting to notice that the platform that I adopted just as a backup or as a second option, and it has ended up outperforming my main one, the major one. So we cannot ignore it anymore. So I would really advise you to work with both of these platforms in parallel. And it's interesting to see that the case study that I initiated for the sake of exploring different platforms, and it has resulted in such a nice outcome for me personally. So I would really encourage you to explore other platforms as well. Now, speaking of exploring other platforms, I wanted to introduce you to 123rf.com, which is a digital stock agency which provides over 200 million photos, vectors, and 3D illustrations. Now, the most attractive aspect of this particular platform is that it has something for everyone. Let me explain what I mean by that. Now, I went through some of their packages and I found two of them quite appealing. Let's begin with the free package. Now, we know that a lot of graphic designers and digital content creators download free vectors and photos from freepik.com, but very few among us are familiar with an alternative option such as the one offered by 123rf. Now, the thing is, I have gone through their collection and I found that quite appealing, and the best part is they are offering over 2 million photos and vectors. So all you need to do is sign up for their free account. If you use other websites such as freepik.com, there is no harm in signing up for this one because it is free of cost. So for those who are looking for some free content for their designs or artwork, this is something you will find this quite useful for your use case. Now, in addition to this one, the most attractive package in my opinion is the 123RF Plus. Now they do have a premium package as well, but this one is the one that appealed to me the most, and I will explain to you with this comparative chart here provided back then. Now when we say a free account or the free package for the 123rf.com, they give access to all the free images, and like I said, there are over 2 million images. But when it comes to the Plus account, they provide access to about 80 million stock photos. Now even this particular collection is quite extensive and impressive, and they are offering access to 80 million stock photos, vectors and illustrations with this package in comparison to the free one. But the best part about this one, and what sets it apart from its competitors, is the pricing. And I was quite shocked by the pricing they are offering. So it's only €10 per month for access to 80 million photos or vectors. But if you could even adopt for monthly payment instead of the annual one, and the pricing is still quite reasonable. It's only €15 for such an for an access to such an extensive content. Now they do have a premium one, and I feel that many creative agencies would find it attractive and unique. However, when it comes to the individual designers, there is no harm in signing up for the free one and the Plus account, because the Plus account is quite reasonable and affordable for everyone. So I would highly recommend you to check out at least these two packages of 123RF, and if you find it interesting and if you're interested in this one, I will leave the links in the description of this video, so you could go ahead and get yourself registered. So just like Shutterstock and Adobe Stock, 123RF also has a contributor program where you could sell your artwork, and I will highly recommend you. I will personally test this platform as well, because the rates are quite impressive. They are offering 30% to 60% commissions for each download, so that's good. And also they have more than 5 million potential customers or buyers or subscribers. So for that reason, I feel that this platform should also be taken seriously, because like I mentioned earlier, it has something for everyone. It has a free account, it has a Plus subscription which is very affordable, yet it provides access to a huge number of stock photos and vectors, and finally it has this reasonable rates for the contributor profile as well. So that's it for the 123RF. I have links in the description. Let's get to our next agenda of this video. Now this is sort of an operational strategy, and I have started following this a few months ago because it was advised to me by a friend of mine who is working in a stock agency, digital stock agency, and he mentioned that the metadata of the file which we upload to some platform also plays a significant role. It basically facilitates a search engine or the users in finding what they are looking for. So it may not have something to do with the ranking of your design, but it will facilitate the search engines for sure, at least for the new files. So I've been doing this, and I'm getting really good results during the last few months, but I'm not sure which particular strategy is contributing to those better results. So I can't predict or allocate the percentage of that success to some particular or this particular strategy of mine. Anyway, this is quite simpler. I just want you to know that do not confuse it with when I say metadata, do not confuse it with what we enter after uploading the file, where we write the title and we add the keywords and all stuff. This metadata is related to the file, the original file which we upload. And let me give you a quick example. So here is, let's say here I have a file opened up in Illustrator. So let's say I want to upload this and sell this particular design or logo in Shutterstock or in some other agency. So all I need to do is I need to go to this file menu. I'll click on it, and in the drop down I will go down to this particular option, file info. I'll click on it, and it will open up this dialog box. So in this I need to write a title here, whatever I want to write, and then author name, description, keywords with commas, for example, like this, logo, vector, icon, something like that. Here I will write the description. You could give it a rating, and it has a lot of pieces of information, and you could fill out as much relevant information you find here. For example, for photographs you could go with the camera data and all that, but anyway you could follow the same approach for Photoshop as well. But anyway, in this case, the at least that you should do is title, description, and keywords, the three things that you do normally after uploading your file. Okay, so you need to do that before uploading it, and once you will have a title here, a description here, and relevant keywords here, then you could even save it as a template if you have similar sort of design, so you will not have to repeat this process again and again. So that is also quite helpful. So using the Adobe Illustrator, you could easily fill out these details, and then you will press OK, and this will get saved. And the good thing is that once you will fill out these pieces of information here within this Illustrator, and you will save your file as .eps, then once you will upload it to Shutterstock, these fields will get populated on its own, which means once you upload it and once you will go to the submission page, these you will not have to refill these pieces of information in the fields, in the text fields of Shutterstock contributor account. Okay, so that's also convenient. So this is what I do. Now afterwards, finally, a really important discussion is regarding the Shutterstock's January reset. Now for those who are not familiar or who are new to this concept, is that about 2 years ago Shutterstock changed its policy, and it initiated this policy of resetting all accounts on the 1st of January of each new year. Okay, so for example, at the moment it's 18th of November, and it's almost the end of 2022. So right on the 1st January 2023, they will reset my level, which is at the moment I'm at level 5, which means I'm getting 35% commission or royalty, whatever you want to call it. So I'm getting 35% royalty at the moment. But on the 1st January 2023, they will reset me to level 1, where I will be getting only 15%. And then I will have to regrow my account step by step, and it will, for example, this year I reached level 5 on 12th of May. Okay, so May is like the 5th month, so it took me 5 months, or you could call it 4 months because it's the beginning of May. So it took me 4 months to reach level 5. So because of this new policy of Shutterstock, it kind of wastes the initial months of each year. So this is not obviously a good thing, but this is how it is, and we will have to and this is why it is important to make some sort of strategy or understand how it works and what should we do to speed up this process. Okay, for example, you might be sitting at level 3 or maybe at level 4. So obviously you would not like that on 1st of January you will be reset to level 1, and then the more time you will spend to regain your level, the lesser money you will make. So for that reason, it's important. What I normally do is that you will have to really pay some attention on the month of January and the first 2 months especially. Even add March to it, so let's call it 3 months. We should not spend more than 3 months to regain what we achieved last year, okay, ideally. So for that reason, we will have to spend a bit more time during the early months. You will have to make focus on the events that are taking place in the month of January, and the events that are taking place in the month of February, for example Valentine's Day takes place in February. So for that reason, do target those events or those designs, or I don't know, target those things that would sell more in the earlier months, so that you could gain these levels as fast as possible, because the longer you will delay this process, the lesser money you will make. So that is something, a bad aspect of being a Shutterstock contributor, but this is how it is, so we will have to plan accordingly. Now if you found this video helpful, all these pieces of information that I shared with you today in this particular video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, because your likes and comments, they really encourage me to spend more time on this channel and share more informative content with you. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, drop some comments if you have any questions, and that's it. Have a nice day.